What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Coding Treehouse. In this video, I'll be walking you guys through arguably the most well-known beginner-friendly front-end development project, the calculator. But most importantly, I'll be explaining the code, which gives you guys the opportunity to really understand it for yourselves. And I'll throw in some tips and tricks that you guys can implement on your own projects as well. Without further ado, let's get started. First things first, open VS Code, open folder. You want to go to desktop, right click, new, and then just name it calculator app. Forgot those folders were there. Anyway, right click, and then you hit new folder, and you're going to name it index.html. That format is very specific. And then you just want to do it two more times, two more folders. You want to name the first one style.css for your styling, and then script.js for your logic. Now, in HTML, if you do exclamation mark, enter, it will give you a template for your app, for the HTML. So you want to name it calculator app. Now underneath that, a little trick, if you type in link :CSS, it will automatically link your file, which is pretty cool. You're going to do the same thing below for your styles, and it's just going to be script.src. But you just have to implement that by hand. But yep, it matches. Pretty cool. Now, right underneath the body, if you type div with a hashtag calculator, it will automatically produce you a div with the ID of calculator. And we're just going to make an input. Now, this is going to display all the keys, and we want this to be a read-only input. So we're going to do that by typing in read-only. Beneath that, we're going to do another div, but we're going to be labeling it keys, and it's going to contain all of the keys that we create. We're just going to make a button, and we're going to set the on-click to append to display. What append just means is just to insert in the display. So upon clicking the button, it will display, it'll append to the display. We're just going to make 17 of these buttons. But these last two are going to be peculiar buttons, and that this one is going to be the clear display function, and that's like the C icon in a calculator, and it's just going to clear your screen once you hit it. And this one is going to be your calculate function, which is just going to be like your equal sign. If you click the equal sign, it'll just trigger your calculate, but we'll come up with the logic for these later on. And for each of these keys, each character represents what the key is going to contain. Equals, and then C. Now for each of these, you're going to also have to manually input these here as well. your decimal point. Okay. Now, if you click Go Live at the bottom right-hand corner, it will render the code that you're working with, which is pretty cool. So these are the keys that we've created, and then that will be the display. Once you click them, they're just going to render to them. Anyway, we're going to go to Styles, and we're going to start creating the coloring and style of everything here because it looks super static. So button, we're going to set the width to 100 pixels. And the height to 100 as well. And that just increases the size, the height and width of each button. And the border radius is going to augment the corners of each button. And at 50 pixels, it rounds them out. And we don't want that border on there. But the background color is going to be a dark slate gray. Because we want this program to be visually appealing as well. Not just super basic. And we'll fix the sizing later. Or we could just do it now. 3 rem. And the font weight, if we make it bold, it just emboldens each character. And we want the cursor to be pointer. Now what that does is when you scroll over, I'll just comment this out. When you scroll over, you see that the pointer shows up. But if I comment this out by clicking Control \, it doesn't do it anymore. So I'm just going to Control Z, save, and then you see my cursor becomes a pointer. Now we are going to style the keys next. The display to be a grid. Now it looks kind of weird right now, but I'm just going to format it using grid template columns. And at repeat 4:1 FR, it's going to change the row frequency so that it looks more like the calculator row. And the gap augments the separation of each key. We're going to put that at 10 pixels with a padding of 25 pixels. Now let's make this background because they're just floating right now. The font family to be Arial, why not? Background color of dark gray. It's a good contrast. Or maybe not. Just want to round out those edges with border radius at 15 pixels. And then a max width, which obviously establishes the max width at 500 pixels. And we want the overflow to be hidden, which just means that as you continuously type, it doesn't type out of the calculator. It's just going to kind of hide in the background once it exceeds the display. We want the display width, speaking of that, to be 100%. But it looks kind of bad right now because it's just a box. So we're going to make it bigger. With a font size of 5 rem. just makes it fuller. We'll make the text align to left so that when you type each character in, it's going to show up on the left side of the display, just like a normal calculator would. I want this border to be none. And the background just to be white. And we want the color of each key to be white. Oh, whoops. I meant to change it to gray. Much better. Now it's starting to come along. Okay, next we are going to augment the body of the page. We want the margin to be 0, which just brings it to the top left corner. We want it to be flex, display flex, and the next line will justify what flex means. It just allows the application just to be more movable, more flexible, and then justify content center, align item center, centers your calculator in the center of the screen. It's 75 VH, stands for vertical height. The background color, let's just do beige. There it is. Let's make this padding 7%. There we go. I didn't like that it was touching the top, but I do want it to be top leaning though. Now, the button hover augments when you hover over each button. So I'll show you in a second, but when my cursor rolls over each button, the background color is going to change from dark slate gray to dark slate blue. And the button active augments once you click each particular button. And I want it to transform scale 0.90 so that when I click it, each button gets smaller. And I want the dot special button. I want the background for it to be fire brick. Now, what are the special characters? Well, let's go back to HTML. And I just want the special characters on the left side to show a different color, just so they all don't look exactly the same. So you know that they're special. You're going to do that by associating a class of special button to the plus sign, the minus, the multiplication, division, and the clear function, clear display function. And there you have it. Yep. And then see, when I roll over them, they all show a different color. And when you click on them, the :active gets rendered. Okay, so now we're going to work on the logic that encompasses all the functions of a calculator. So I'm just going to comment this line out, calculator logic. Then first, we're going to const, which allows you to associate a value to whatever precedes the const, equal document.getElement by ID, display, and what this augments is, it just pulls the element that has the ID of display, and you're sending it to display. And we're going to make a function of append to display with the input. So upon inputting any button, it renders, or it appends, to the display. With the display value, .value plus equals input, which just takes the display value plus the input and it renders it on the screen. And then a function clear display, because we have to create the logic that clears the display. It's going to be display.value. It's going to be equals nothing, because you want to set the display.value to nothing, which is why that's an empty quote. And then we want to make a function for the calculate logic. This one's going to be very simple. You're going to do a try, which is going to try display, which just means to try calculating it. Let's just try. Display.value equals eval, what is on the display. And the eval function just strictly evaluates exactly what is inside the parentheses. And we're going to do a catch. So you try eval, and then if it's a catch, you're going to add the error. So it's going to catch the error and it's going to alert the user. Faulty expression. Please try again. So it's just going to alert the user at the top of the screen if, like, some error occurs, and then it's going to declare the display and then return you once you hit enter. Like once you enter it, back to nothing. And then that evaluates each key that is inputted. And then if you do 7 times 70, it evaluates using the display.value. And then, like, if you add pluses or something, which isn't, a logical expression, faulty expression, please try again. And then once you hit OK, it returns to nothing. That about sums it up. 1,000 thanks to all of you for checking out my video. If you liked the video, go ahead and like and subscribe, because in the next, I'll be walking through another beginner-friendly portfolio gem. And if you guys have any questions, suggestions, or requests, feel free to comment below, and I'll do my best to respond to every single one of you. Until next time, signing off.